My name's Isha, and I know the majority of you live in South America. So I'm going to be translating this broadcast. Okay, first and foremost, Happy Earth Day. And I think that the coronavirus has made us very conscious of what we have to appreciate, how important nature is for us, the planet is for us, and more importantly, how connected we are. You know, we're connected in so many different ways, and I think this virus has shown us that all the lines are illusionary. They don't have any reality. And I think we have to all start thinking as global citizens, no? Instead of our independent selves. You know, I think of myself as a global citizen, and I live in the world. You know, I was born in Australia, but I live in Uruguay and Mexico, and in an aeroplane. And I think for me, the most important thing that I discovered was the importance of teaching people to love themselves. Because when we expand consciousness and we start to love ourselves, everything becomes important. And the most simple things in life are the most beautiful. The nature, our friends, our family, everything to do with our world. And everything that we consume and accumulate is not managing to fill an internal emptiness. And I think a lot of young people are starting to realize this. So I've been teaching the expansion of love consciousness for 20 years. And I realize when people love themselves, they don't destroy things. They don't destroy relationships. They don't destroy the planet. They don't abuse each other. They're constantly looking for harmony. Because when we find harmony internally, we can find it externally. So my greatest focus has been education. Teaching children how to be the best of who they are. How to connect with their true essence instead of pretending to be someone they're not. To be their authentic selves. Teaching them to feel their emotions, to speak the truth, to look for unity instead of competition and separation. You know, so often we have such low self-esteem that we're trying to prove ourselves. What I have, how successful I am, how much I've accumulated, my trophies, be it my money, my partner, my car, my house, everything external is trying to give us self-worth. But the sad thing is that not only does it not fulfill us, it destroys everything. We consume so much that we are destroying everything. And we're not achieving what we want. And you know, it's nice to have nice things. I'm not saying you have to become a hippie and live in a tree. But you have to have internal abundance. And from this place, we inspire everyone to be the best of who they are. Because when I feel bad with myself, I'm always pulling other people down. And this is the essence of bullying. It always comes from a place of not embracing self. Once we learn to love ourselves exactly as we are, with all of our diversities, our preferences, seeing how perfect we are, how we look, and start to just love ourselves exactly as we are. This is the most important thing. So when we start to expand consciousness, which I call love consciousness, by going inwards, I start to find this space where I'm free to be myself. And once you find that space, and you become very present in the moment, you start looking for excellence, not fanaticism. But if you see something that you can change in yourself and the world, you change it. It's not about making the outside bad or wrong or us and them, because that's fanaticism. It's about seeing how I can make a difference. How can I be the essence of that which I wish to perceive? Do I go home? Do I give praise, love and gratitude? Do I encourage the children? Or do I scold them? Do I tell my husband what's not good enough? Always claiming love? Or my wife? Am I filling myself with addictions because I'm not feeling good about me? And the destructive things in my life become the most important things. And once we start to go inside and we start to be really present with ourselves, we find a phenomenal peace. And that peace, that love, is in everything. When we elevate consciousness, all of the things we perceive as negative are going to start to dissolve externally. Because all of them come from lack and greed and lack of self-worth. So I always talk about starting with self, cultivating an experience of love, and going out and giving that love. And, you know, with humans, there's always this extreme duality. You know, you see thousands of people going into the streets to help, to give, you know, selflessly. And then you see other people grabbing everything off the shelves, or creating drama or violence, taking advantage. And we have to find those places within all of us. And we have to evolve and change. And this for me is sustainable development. You know, when humans embrace everything, they will start to change. You know, another thing I want to talk about, which for me is on the surface. You know, when I talk about love consciousness, I'm talking about the most important thing. Because from that place of love and peace and self-awareness, all the good flows. But it's impressive how our greed is destroying our natural resources. And it's an interesting thing. Like, I live in the country now. But even living here in Uruguay, which is full of nature, just the fact that so much of the traffic has stopped, how many animals are returning? Because animals look for peace. They don't go running towards chaos. And we are animals too. We're humans, but we are a species. And our beingness desires peace and love. Our egos or our needs or our fears desire distraction. We're never in the moment. We're never present. And we're oblivious to what we're doing, how we destroy things. We're totally unconscious. So when I talk about sustainable development, obviously we're talking about looking after the water, the air, the soils, stopping the contamination, supporting the ecosystem, looking after our bodies, which is a big aspect of our self-destructive nature. We don't eat properly, we don't consume enough water, we don't get enough exercise because we're not loving ourselves. When we don't love ourselves, the most important thing for us is the most destructive things. Our addictions, be in toxic relationships, consuming toxins, abusing our bodies. But when we start to love ourselves, these things start to change as well. And pollution. Polluting our environment, not recycling, pollution, verbal pollution. There's this place when we're not respecting ourselves, we're not respecting anyone. And the separatism and the ideas that don't embrace every aspect of humanity. We always have this need to be right. And it's so antique, no? For years we've been fighting over religion. It separates us. And God is love. It doesn't matter how it's presented. And I think that's what we have to return to. Life can be so simple. We can create beauty no matter what we're doing. But it has to come from love, not from a place of trying to prove we have worth. I'm going to share with you quickly my story. I guess coming from Australia, one of my greatest passions is the ocean, no? The dolphins, the whales, being with my horses, spending hours alone in nature. And as a child, I was very blessed to have that possibility. And it was wonderful for me. And I left that world looking for success. And I succeeded, Everything was external. I had everything supposedly I should want. But deep inside, when I started to go in, I realized that I didn't love myself at all. And everything I was doing was to prove that I had worth. My goals, my successes, my money, my status, my beauty, my whatever. But below that was a massive fear. A massive fear of not being good enough. And this is what we have to heal. And the only way to heal that is to go in and heal the separation. And the separation is to ourselves. That essence of internal perfection. And this is what I teach. Because when I found that, I just realized that everything was bringing me joy. I was the joy going into the world, not trying to get joy from the world. So I have the capacity to give from a place of abundance. And everything's important. Every animal, every human. It doesn't matter if they're in high security jails. It doesn't matter who the person is. Everyone's important. Because everything is me. And once I realized that, there was no limit to the amount of love I was capable of giving. And this experience I have is available to all humans. It's who we are. But we're not taught that. In fact, it's the last thing we're taught. We're taught to know and to do. And quite often, to separate. The opposite actions to love. So, I'm like all of you. I want to save all the endangered species. I adore animals. I want to save the rainforests. For me, the biggest virus on the planet is called humans. But we are humans. So it's a virus that can turn into a positive virus. And I think we have to start with ourselves. And now that we're home and we're locked with ourselves, I can guarantee you, whoever you're with is exactly the person you're meant to be with. So if you're having friction in your relationship, or you're discovering wonderful things, whatever's transpiring, it's exactly as it's meant to be. So don't feel like a prisoner. Look for ways to heal. Because peace and joy and love and unity are in every moment, irrespective of what's transpiring externally. And if you can see an opportunity to change the world in each moment, that could be picking up plastic on the beach, stopping septic going into the ocean. Whatever you can see, look and do it. But don't become fanatical. Do it in each moment. Something great in each moment. And look where you can just give. If you want to learn my system, which teaches you to experience love conscious and focus on praise, love and gratitude, I'd be more than happy to invite you. Go into Isha.com and you'll see lots of things you can read, movies, full of animals, full of nature, full of wonderful things. Okay, so I really don't have anything else to say because my message is always the same. You know, as we become the love and return to our true essence, when I heal myself, I heal the world. And this is a responsibility of you. Namaste.